Hi loves. Today I'm just going to do a get ready with me featuring only drugstore products that I have repurchased. Just to explain to you how much I love them, why I love them, and why I wear them. So first things first, I'm not going to use a primer. I have already moisturized my skin, but primers are hit or miss for me. First we're going to use, I'm going back and forth between using these two foundations. Now these two foundations, you guys know I love the 24-hour Stay from Maybelline. It is my ride or die favorite. However, I do also love the Wet n Wild Photofinish foundation. The only thing that turns me off about this is the smell. It smells like paint thinner. It's not a good smell. So I'm just gonna take my Alamar brush. This is for bronzing, but I don't no. Do not like the little spatula it comes on. It's kind of weird and gross, so I'm just gonna boop. So now I'm gonna take my Maybelline 24-hour. I'm gonna put just a little bit on my brush, just like I have a pump. I'm gonna dab it everywhere, and then I'm gonna mix them because the Photofinish is a little bit too light for me. Normally that's like my shade, but for some reason it's not right now. I'm not really sure why that is. Like I said, we did not use a primer today just because I do not feel like it was necessary. Primers are weird for me. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I hate them, sometimes I feel like they do something, sometimes I don't. So it may just be all in my head one way or the other. Who knows? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I very well could be. But I don't know how you do a primer wrong. As far as concealer goes, I have two. These are already my favorite concealers pretty much ever. Luckily, they're drugstore concealer. So first one's Colourpop No Filter Concealer. This is in the shade Fair 06. I'm just going to dab this in the inner corner of my eye right here that I feel like needs just a little bit of brightening. And then I'm going to take my LA Girl Pro Conceal High Definition Concealer. I'm going to take a little bit on my finger here, dab it in there, again here, a little right there, and then right in the corners of my nose. So now I'm going to take my Sigma Tapered Kabuki F86. This is probably my favorite concealer brush ever. So I'm just gonna dab it right in there. Put it on my lids as well. Try to even those out. Concealer is done. Now we're gonna take our little baby brush. This is the Alamar brightening brush. I'm just going to dip into my Maybelline Fit Me. This is the loose powder in shade 05. This is really the only drugstore powder that I absolutely love. I'm gonna take that, put it under my eyes. I'm gonna put it on top of my lid as well to prime for eyeshadow. So that's all I do with that brush. Now I'm gonna take, you guys, this brush is loved. This is my Sigma Tapered Face F25. Like, look at it. So with packaging like this, I tend to just either do it like that, or I'll do it the lazy way and literally put my brush here and then flip it upside down. So I'm just gonna powder all over. Set the face. And then we'll go in with bronzer. All right, face is beat. Well, it's getting there. Bronzer. We are gonna take my all-time favorite bronzer brush. This is the Morphe S15. It's just a really fluffy all over face brush. I'm not really sure what the intended purpose is for it, but I found it and had to use it for bronzer. So for bronzer, I'm going to use my all-time favorite butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. This isn't just the regular bronzer. I know they have a different couple variations of it now, but forehead. Since my bangs are up, I actually have to do this. It's the only good thing about bangs is you can literally skip out on doing half the makeup on your face. You know, it's funny because eyebrows are my absolute favorite and most hated thing to do as far as makeup goes. But if I have bangs, I can skip it. It's crazy. As far as blush goes, we're gonna use Melani Luminoso. Melani's fantastic. This is absolutely my favorite blush, drugstore blush that I've ever used. So for blush, okay, so for blush, we're gonna use the Morphe S13. Just gonna dab it right in there. Get the apples. So I don't have any drugstore brow products that I love. I used to, but I never repurchased them, so I don't really use them anymore. So I'm gonna do my brows off camera and then I'll be right back. Brows done. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do eyeshadow. So the only eyeshadow palette that I have that's drugstore that I love is gonna be the Semi and Precious Colourpop Shadow Palette. Now, this is only shimmers, okay? So what I also did was this is not a repurchase because I guess I could, but it would be more work than anything. So this is just a Colourpop palette that I created by myself, because you can go on their website and just kind of design your own palette. So I've got 4 shadows down here. I've got a blush and I've got a bronzer / contour color. So what I'm gonna do is, since this has 2 mattes, I'm gonna dip into these mattes for my transition shades and some lid colors, and then we're gonna go in with the semi-precious, okay? All right, so the first shade I'm gonna go in with is Chick Happens. This is kind of a berry purple, and I'm just gonna take it on my Morphe E40 that I always have, or I'm sorry, Sigma E40 blending. So I'm just gonna dip it in there, and I'm gonna kind of do a simple eye look today, you guys, because I don't feel like it's necessary to do some kind of crazy glam. So blend that, and that's all we're gonna do there. Then we're gonna dip back into it, and we're gonna go over on this eye, do the same thing, just windshield wiper motions, blend out that all the way up, almost, well, I have to blend it up to my brow, almost my brow bone, but that's just because I have hooded eyes, and I feel like that's probably the best way to go about doing this for me, to kind of hide the hoodedness. So now I'm gonna take my Sigma E25. This is just another blending brush. It's one of my fucking favorites. And I'm just gonna take some more of that same color, but I'm gonna deepen the crease, or the corner, the outside corner with it, that I didn't feel like the E40 did very well. The lead, it's a darker gray. I'm gonna use that, just deepen up the outer corner again. So now that I'm done with that one, I'm going to go into the semi-precious. I'm just going to do something super simple. I'm going to take, I don't even know what the name of these colors are. I'm just going to take the gold, which is Celestial right here. I'm just going to take that one and put it just directly right here on my lid. I'm not going to take much because I'm going to want to blend this out. So I'm going to take my Sigma E40. I'm going to blend it here. Blend that as well. So I just want just a little something right there, y'all. I'm gonna take it, blend it, blend it. All right, so now we're done with that. So now I'm gonna take Up and Atom. This is the brightest shade in the bunch. It's more of a highlight shade that I'm gonna probably end up highlighting my inner corner with, but I'm just gonna take, this one is extremely intense. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to rub it almost to the center and just blend it. Lids are done. So before we do eyeliner, we're going to go in and we're going to do our lower lash line. And this is my Morphe M432, just a very flat defining brush. So I'm going to dip into those 2 shades that I put on my upper lid, and I'm just going to barely put any product down here. Almost like I'm stamping it. So then I'm just going to take the Morphe M431. This is just a tapered blending, and we're going to buff that out. I'm not going to put any extra product on it whatsoever because I do not want my lower lash line to be like, bam, hey, how you doing, you know? All right, so there is that. I'm going to take a little bit of that Up and Atom again, and I'm just going to dab it right there in the inner corners. Y'all, that makes such a huge difference. I can't even believe how much of a difference that makes. And then as far as eyeliner goes, I'm going to do a wing today, but I'm going to do a very subtle wing. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. This is probably my favorite drugstore liner ever. See, just tiny. All right, mascara. So the L'Oreal Carbon Black, the Voluminous, this is probably the best drugstore mascara that's ever happened to the planet. So I've got the primer, which I don't really know if it does anything or not, but we're going to use it today anyway, just because. Why not? All right, so I'm gonna let that dry for just a second, and while that is drying, we'll move on to lips. So as far as lip liners, my favorite drugstore lip liners are the NYX. I just feel like they're very creamy. The only thing I hate about them is I wish that they were mechanical, because I do prefer mechanical liners over, you know, ones that you have to sharpen, just because I don't feel like the tip is meh. Because once I mold it, I want it to stay that way. But as soon as you sharpen it, it doesn't. So as far as lip color today, I've got 4 different options, and they're all great options. So the first one is the Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip Color. This I love. As far as a matte liquid lipstick goes, these are probably the best ones that I've seen drugstore-wise, aside from Colourpop, because Colourpop's great. But this one is in the shade Embrace. So this is, like, how beautiful is that? And it dries down fairly quickly. It does have, whoops. It does have a little bit of a scent to it, but it's not overpowering, and it's almost like a fruity scent. The next one that I love is, this one's L'Oreal Paris. This is in Ferris Nude. The only complaint that I have with these lipsticks, as much as I love them, is one, they're not matte, which is okay, but I just prefer matte as far as that goes, because I like to put it on my lips, walk away, go, don't have to worry about it, right? The smell, y'all, it smells, and I love my granny, but it smells like your granny's makeup. But that's beautiful. As far as nudes go, it's probably one of my favorite shades of nude. I just can't wear it that much because of the smell, and you just smell it all day. Now, the last but certainly not least is my Colourpop Lippy Stick. Now, this is not matte, but it's great. Oh, snap. Right? All right, so I'm going to take that, I'm going to swatch it for you. These are wonderful. They're just very buttery, creamy. They blend beautifully. They stay put. So I'm probably going to use that one. And as far as liners go, let's go with a brown. You know what? I haven't used this one yet. So this is NYX in Beige. Oh, it matches fairly well. I feel like this inner corner highlight is a little bit dark, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to take some Colourpop Super Shock Shadow. This is the cheek one in Flexitarian. I'm sure you've all heard of it. So yeah, we're just going to take a little bit of that and mute that gold down a little bit, because I feel like it's giving me like a weird shadow. Oh my God, look how pretty it is. Ugh. Y'all. I'm gonna add just a little bit more because I'm feeling a little bit. Duh. All right, guys, that is the finished look. Drugstore girl.